One crazy fact for every NFL team this season. Let's start with the Arizona Cardinals. They haven't recorded a pick six in over 2 years, 2 whole years, the longest drought currently in the NFL. Atlanta Falcons. Bill Belichick was almost going to be the Falcons head coach this year, and he even got an interview after Arthur Smith was fired, but I guess it didn't work out. Baltimore Ravens. These Ravens had an historic offense this season as they became the first team in NFL history to have 20 rushing touchdowns and 40 passing touchdowns in the same season. Buffalo Bills. This season, the Bills are the first team ever to turn over fewer than 10 times while forcing 30 turnovers or more on their opposing teams. Carolina Panthers. Man, did they have some bad defense this season. They played 3 overtime games, which almost ties their record of 4 back in 2003, and they allowed 534 points this season, which is the most points allowed ever in a single season in NFL history. Chicago Bears. Bears quarterbacks were sacked 68 times this season, which is the most in a single season for their franchise. They were just 1 sack away from this being a nice stat. Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow this season had 6 consecutive games with 3+ passing touchdowns. Cleveland Browns. Oh boy, I'll give you 2, 1 positive and 1 negative. Positive, Myles Garrett had 14 sacks this season, making him the only player in NFL history to have 4 consecutive seasons with 14+ sacks. Since 2021, he had at least 14 per season. And for the negative fact, this was their 21st losing season of the century. No other NFL team had more than 17 losing seasons this century, but the Browns found a way to break that record. Dallas Cowboys. Even though Dak Prescott led an impressive comeback after his injury, the fact that the Cowboys lost 7 home games makes them tied for the second most home losses in franchise history for a single season. Denver Broncos. Bo Nix had 29 passing touchdowns this season. This is the most for a Broncos quarterback in their first season of the team. For reference, Jay Cutler's first 2 seasons had 29, Bo did it in just 1. Detroit Lions. The Lions are the 7th team in NFL history to have 4 different players with 1,000+ yards from scrimmage. These 4 players are Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, David Montgomery, and Jahmyr Gibbs. Green Bay Packers. This season, the Packers became the first team in NFL history to win 800 regular season games in total since the start of their franchise. They now have an all-time record of 810, 604 losses, and 38 ties. Houston Texans. They allowed at least 1 sack in every game of the season, which is a franchise first. Indianapolis Colts. Anthony Richardson was the only quarterback in the NFL to have a passer rating of over 100 and lose in week 1. Not all time, by the way, just for this season. Jacksonville Jaguars. When the Jags lost to the Lions 52-6 this season, this was the worst loss in franchise history. Kansas City Chiefs. This season, the Chiefs ended the regular season without a turnover in 7 consecutive games. Also, the Chiefs are one of just 9 teams in NFL history to win 15+ regular season games. Las Vegas Raiders, man, they could not compete against their division. They went 0-6 in the AFC West in 2024. They had a final record of 4-13. Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert has thrown at least 1 touchdown and no interceptions in 10 games this season. This ties Phillip Rivers in 2017 for the most by a Chargers quarterback. Los Angeles Rams. This team started off the season going 1-4 and somehow won their division by ending up 10-7. Talk about a comeback. Miami Dolphins. They finished with the highest completion percentage in franchise history at 69.9%. Nice. Minnesota Vikings. The 2024 season is the 9th time in franchise history the Vikings have completed a regular season with 3 or fewer losses. They finished the season with the record of 14-3. New England Patriots. They could not score this season as they failed to score more than 25 points in any one game for the first time since 1990. New Orleans Saints. Injuries really ruined this season. The first 2 games looked like this team was ready to rock and roll, and then 6 weeks later we got the exact opposite. From injuries to firing their head coach, it was just kind of a nightmare to summarize it. New York Giants. This is the most losses the Giants got in a single season with 14 losses. Second worst was 13 losses in 2021 and 13 losses in 2017. I get that teams are now playing 17-game seasons, but still 14 losses, there's not much excuse for that. New York Jets. The Jets have had 9 straight losing seasons, which is the longest active streak in the NFL. Also, after missing the postseason yet again, they have the longest playoff drought in the NFL, which is a 14-year drought of not making the postseason. Philadelphia Eagles. The Raiders and the Eagles were the only 2 teams with an average ticket price of over $400 last season, which man, at least the Eagles played winning football. What were the Raiders charging that for, to watch a losing team? Pittsburgh Steelers. The 2024 Steelers were the first team in the last 20 years and only the 8th since 1970 to allow 300 or fewer yards in 10 or fewer points in each of their first 3 games. San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy took a bit of a step back this season compared to last season. He threw 11 less touchdowns, his passer rating dropped from 113 to 96, and his QBR dropped from 72.8 to 68. Seattle Seahawks. Geno Smith has joined Russell Wilson as the only Seahawks quarterback to have 5 games with 300 plus passing yards in a single season. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. For the first time ever, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have made the playoffs in 5 consecutive years. This is the longest streak, as the last longest one was 4 straight between 1999 and 2002. Longest for their franchise, of course, not in NFL history. Tennessee Titans. The Titans have made 11 interceptions this season, which is a franchise record. Great that they made a franchise record. 11 in a season? There's other teams that done better. The Washington Commanders. Jaden Daniels has joined 2012 Russell Wilson as the only rookie quarterback ever to have 25 plus passing touchdowns and a passer rating of 100 or better. So here was one fact for every NFL team this season. How do you think the postseason is going to play out, and who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? Don't forget to tackle that like button and subscribe with notifications turned on. I'm Touchdown Rewind, and I'll fast forward to you later.